be here to the lounge. Of course, we're on Facebook as well. And I've got Brandon with me again. Brandon, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, but he's going to hate me, folks. I'm telling you right now, and he knows what's coming.
Weather?
Yes.
Oh, that ain't going to matter because it's not even cold here. So
yeah, well, it's kind of been raining here, but it's been nice and warm here.
Well, it's been rainy here, but it's not been cold. So I'm okay with the weather right now. So a failure on his part to try to get me again didn't happen, did it?
I'll get him at some point.
It didn't happen.
Stay tuned.
Good thing I got David on speed dial. Anyways, I hope everybody's doing all right today, and most of all, I hope you guys had a good Christmas yesterday. Of course, we're going through Facebook as well, so shout out to my friends on Facebook, all of you that might be listening. Speaking of listeners and chat, we're having some difficulties with the restream that I normally use, so that's being worked on. I'm hoping when we go do our stream tonight that'll be fixed.
I hope so.
I don't know. It's just one of them stupid things, and it wants a code put in, but then when you go to authorize to do the code, it won't let you because it says you're. I don't know. I can't even describe all the BS that it says, but I'm gonna work on it later.
Gotta love technology.
Yeah, gotta love it. Let me tell you, it's just some automated bull crap. And I think I need to clean out my cookies or something like that, and that might fix it. We'll see. That's going to be the last resort because I've done everything else. So, But either way, I hope everybody had a good Christmas, wherever you might be, whatever you might have done yesterday on Christmas. I hope that you found happiness and was able to be, full of joy and all that stuff and love. I mean, that's what it's about. Christmas is not about necessarily the gifts. It's about being with loved ones, being around people that love you, and most of all, Christmas is based around Jesus Christ. I mean,
absolutely.
If we want to be 100% about this, it's not about gifts at all. It's about Jesus, right? Now,
yep.
I will tell you that, well, you know what? No, we'll get into that talk on a different topic with talking about Jesus Christ, because I can get way off on this, and we'll just... Anyways, it's Christmas, and it was, Christmas is not about the money. It's not about what kind of gift did you get.
Not about how many presents you get either.
And I mean, bottom line, our world is full of that type of, a lot of people are that way. And I'm not saying nothing bad. If you are that way and you're about the, gifts on Christmas, that's fine. But that's not what Christmas is about. But hopefully you guys had a good Christmas either way. And then New Year's is right around the corner. I know some people they've already got their New Year's resolutions on what they want to change or what they want to do for the new year. What about you, Brandon? Do you have a New Year's resolution this year? Do you got something that you're gonna hold yourself to?
Yeah, I actually do. I'm gonna get myself more involved in the church and help more people.
Okay, well, that's a good one to have. I don't know yet what mine fully is. Well, I do. And we're getting into that discussion here in just a second. But there's a lot of people that don't do that don't have a New Year. They're just like, whatever, it's a new year, whatever. And I used to be that way sometimes. I mean, not every year. I wasn't that way every year, but there was times when I just like, who cares? It's a new year, big deal. Just another day, But I mean, technically, it's it's a new year, so it's good to have it's good to have some goals laid out in front of you on what you foresee the future to be for yourself. However
Yep.
you decide to make that, because at the end of the day, it is up to you on what happens. It's up to you whether you do good things for the year or you do things that's not so good. Um, I hope that anyone out there is going through addiction and recovery, hopefully, one of your New Year's resolutions is to continue to go through recovery and, stay off of, the edge of falling back off and doing drugs again. So hopefully those of you that are going through recovery, that is one of your goals, is to continue to go straight and not go back to drugs, because it's so easy to do. I don't care what anybody says. It's very easy to fight. And you can be off of drugs for a long time. You could have been off drugs for 2 years, and it's just as easy for you to fall back on drugs as it is someone off of drugs for 6 months. Because, when you once you go through being addicted, you're always going to stand a chance of wanting more. I mean, that's just the research and the data and all that stuff proves that that's a fact, and it is. Anyways, so hopefully you guys are doing good, and just stay positive. Keep looking at the bright side of things. So, something that I wanted to talk about tonight, and Brandon's got to go in a while, so maybe we'll get done before he gets pulled out. We'll see.
Yep.
We're going to talk about something that's not easy for anybody, and that's being able to leave the past where it's at. Leave it behind you and move forward without looking back at all. I can tell you right now, I would admit it, I have been guilty of that many of times.
So have I.
It is not easy to not look back on something that damaged you or hurt you so badly. So,
And it seems to be more prevalent in relationship type situations.
yeah, it can be. I think it depends on what it is that you're looking back at. Relationships, yes, 100%. I've been fighting that myself, fighting to stop looking back at all the things that happened, stop trying to find reasons on why this, why that. It's done, it's over, move forward. Now, sometimes we have things in front of us that cause us to not be able to forget. Sometimes there's things that happen where we can't necessarily not have it be a thought at all. For example, this year coming up in the next month and a half, I got to go to court because I'm taking someone to court. And because of that, that's causing me to look back on everything that I dealt with, everything that I went through. I don't want to look back on them things, but I don't have a choice. It's going to pop up in my head because I'm having to deal with something that's from my past. But if you can go without looking back on your past, looking back on the things that might have brought you down, I encourage you to do so. Don't look back on them things because it's never easier. They say, oh, it gets easier as time passes.
It doesn't.
It doesn't if you're stuck looking back. And that's easy for someone to say if they're not dealing with that specific situation. So,
And I got to say, in your situation, since you brought it up, families sometimes can unfortunately, whether they mean to or not, play a role in that too.
yeah, they can. Friends and family can play a part in how you look back on things, or whether you do or whether you don't. There's been people with my situation where I just tell someone I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's the only way to handle that, is just try to just blow it off and keep going. But I think it's a new year coming up, and I would encourage anybody out there that's going through something that you already been through it. It's done and over, but it's holding you down. I encourage you to let it go and just move forward. As soon as this court stuff's over with, I'm going to be doing the same thing, but there was a lot to that situation that I'm not going to go into detail, but some things had to be dealt with, and some things had to come down to what they're coming down to, and that's just the way it's going to be, whether someone likes it or not. Some are not going to like it, but too bad, I guess.
That's just how it is.
That should have been thought about before, choices were made. Very poor choices were made, but anyway, so yeah, I got to deal with that at the beginning of the year, and that's fine. I'm going to deal with it, get it done with, and I'm hoping to make 2025, one of my better years out of the last 3-4 years. So, so what's your thoughts on it, Brandon, when it comes to different things that just in general, being able to just not look back on your past and move forward? What is your thoughts on it? What is your view on? Do you think it's something that's easy to do, or do you think that there's a certain way it's got to be done?
I think if you have a good support system and a good group of friends, family, and even if you have a good support system in the church, if you go to church, that can help you move on from your past and forget about it.
Right there is your main support. Church. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. That helps you a lot deal with the past situation and move forward and not look back.
And I think when it comes to those that are going through drug addiction and stuff like that, I think one of the bigger things to look at, because dealing with addiction and recovery is not easy by itself. And I think that someone that is going through addiction, it's so much easier for them to stay tripped up on the things behind them, because once you get on the drugs, you lose reality. And then once you get off the drugs, you got reality coming back. So now you're in a stable mind, a stable thinking position, and you're looking back at all the dumb stuff that you might have did. But you got to remember something. You wasn't sober when you made them choices. you wasn't making them choices off of clear thinking. You was making choices off of the sickness that you're dealing with. Because drug addiction is 100%, it's a sickness. And I know there's a lot of people that will say there's no excuse for it, blah, 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 but that's just because you don't know very much at all. You don't know apparently what drug addiction really is. So, I give a thumbs up to anybody going through recovery and being able to keep going forward, not looking back. It takes a lot to do it. It's not an easy path, but you can do it. You just got to continue to stick with your, like Brandon said, the best thing is having a support system. So, whether you go to church or you got a group of people that you highly depend on, stick with them people. Because if they're giving you support now, then they're going to support you probably all the way through it.
And especially for the men, because men a lot of times have a hard time wanting to admit, hey, I've got a problem, I need help, and I need support. Because, let's just face it, men don't like to talk about their problems. And I think having a good group, a supportive group of men who might have went through the same problems and have some advice to give to other men who are currently going through those type of issues,
Yeah.
and to hold them accountable is a good thing.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of that, and I'm not going to give anything on what exactly I'm talking about right now, but I will be doing some streams on this later. It's kind of like what I'm working on getting set up for Scott County for a set of different things that I'm going to be doing to try to create them spaces for people. And because you know what, men, listen, females or males, they don't want to be seen as weak.
No, they don't.
Want
They
to be
want to be seen as the warrior.
Yeah, they want to be seen as the one that is there, that's either, bigger and bolder than what you are, or braver than what you are, or to be there as the protector to you, or to be there as that us guys don't want to admit when we're down. I've seen that a million times with people where they didn't want to talk about anything because they didn't want nobody to know that they needed help.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with admitting when you need something. It's just like males that beat on women. Most of the time, these guys that beat on their women, these are guys that seem to be very soft and down to earth, but when the door closes, they become this other person where they're the bold one. They're the one that's the omega, and this woman's going to do what I tell her. I'm just going to beat the crap out of her.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's okay to admit when you got something wrong. You need help. This isn't based just around drug addiction either. Just so people know, I'm not only talking about drug addiction. I mean, it's anything at all. If you can't admit, one, to yourself that you need help with something, if you can't even admit it to yourself, then the chances of you getting the right kind of help with whatever you're dealing with is probably pretty slim, to be honest. I mean,
And I think it helps our church. Like, we have a group of men, me included, who meet every other Saturday, and we talk about life and whoever is struggling with problems. And you'd be amazed at how many actually open up in that group because, like you said, most of those men and most men don't want to admit when they're broken or they're weak or they are emotionally down about something.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that I think churches is a good place to be. And I'm not getting all, I'm not going all Christian on everybody listening, but I'm just saying that if you are a believer in Christ, even just a little bit, find you a church.
I think for men, having a safe space to talk about life's issues for men and another group of men that has gone through those experiences and to hold each other accountable for things when things happen and not being judgmental or confrontational, I think is a good thing because I think it encourages more people to open up emotionally about life's daily struggles.
Absolutely. I agree. I guess I just hope that for the new year, that even if it's just one or two people that might be listening to the stream now or a little bit later on in time, is just to leave the garbage behind you. Just throw it away and be done. Don't let your past slow you down on what you want tomorrow. If you're wanting to accomplish something for the new year, the only way you're going to do that is by letting go of the stuff that's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what it is. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you went through a divorce. Maybe you lost a
Maybe
relationship that you was in. Maybe you,
maybe
whatever.
you've lost custody of your kids.
Yeah, custody of your children. Whatever it is, there's nothing in the world that you can't get through. Especially when you got God on your side. Just throw it behind you and leave it. And that's not easy. Listen, I know it's not easy. I mean, I can tell you right now, you know, I've been out of my relationship for, I'm just roughly saying here, 3 months. And I think about it every day. It's not easy.
But I'm
But,
sure it helps to have someone to chat with when you get to thinking about that who's not going to be judgmental and be like, oh, get over it. You're just
well, it
being
is.
hysterical.
It is good to have someone to talk to. It is. But again, at the same time, even if you've got someone that you're talking to and you're still working on getting through it, well, then you're doing something.
Exactly.
You know, you're not necessarily lingering on the past. You just need some help to get through it. Uh,
Right.
so I get it, you know, but just I guess my point is overall, don't let it drag you down. Um, and I'm one of them people. I've got the mindset to where I keep going. If I fall, I get back up and I keep going. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
because that's the only choice that we have, you guys. We don't have time to sit around and let something just keep us down. Time passes and it passes quick, and before you know it, you're going to be an old man or an old woman, and you're going to be sitting back on something, and you're going to realize, why did I let this hold me down? Why didn't I let go? So, it might take some work, it will take some work. I'm not going to say might. It will take some work, but it's going to be worth it when you get through it. So, uh, and I'm not even going to base this on any of the teenager stuff that we talk about, because that's a totally different. There's much bigger concepts that need to be discussed. So I'll probably make that a different stream for those that are younger going through stuff. Just because as a teenager, you need to let it go too, but there's some different steps that have to be taken to be able to do that. So that's why I'm not going to get into the whole thing with teens and all that stuff. But I will say, all in all, if you got a good support system, you can get through anything. You can. And at the end of the day, it's about what you want. Do you really want to get through it? Because if you don't, then all you got to do is keep on just looking back, and you never will. You want to get through it, then start looking at the positive things that you can do. Maybe things that you want to do to better yourself, or to better your family, or to better your career, whatever it might be. So hopefully by talking about this a little bit tonight, and to get some of you out there that might, if you're going through things, I guess our goal right now is just to kind of get you thinking about what we're talking about, and try to push you in the right direction. We're going to come back tonight when Brandon gets back home. We're going to be doing some more live stream on SpaceX. We're going to talk some more on the UFO stuff, I believe. I've got some more data I wanted to chat about that I came across. And then I don't know what Brandon's got. If he's got some new stuff to share on anything, then he can.
I don't have anything right now.
You didn't do your homework?
I did. I just couldn't find any new stuff.
Gotcha. But we'll be doing that tonight when he gets back home. Man, time goes by so
Thursday, December 26,
fast.
2024.
It really does.
It does. Time flies. I know I posted on Facebook about getting through the beginning of the year. I don't know if you saw that post I did about dealing with court, getting it done and over, and moving on. And that's what it's about. Just get it done. Whatever you're dealing with, get it done. Get it over with. Move on. And just leave all the garbage behind. I mean, that's honestly the easiest way to put it. The most simplest terms to lay out would be just deal with it and move on.
Yep.
And whatever it is you're dealing with, you know what you're dealing with, and like, I don't want to go through stuff that I've already been through. Well, as long as I sit back and look at it over and over and over, it's like going through it all over again. So, and besides, like I said, it slows you down, and it just drags you down. That's it. That's all it does. Somebody asked me, it was funny. Somebody said, so, do you think what you went through here recently, do you mark this person being better than your ex-wife now? I'd have to say, absolutely not better than my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Because she would have never done some of the things that happened to me. That would have never happened with the other person. Now, even though the other person does have their flaws about self-attitude and stuff like that, but still, I used to say that, my ex was better than anyone in the world. But the more time passes and the more that I see someone that really don't give one shit about nothing,
Yeah.
I mean, at some point you just gotta you gotta open your eyes and realize, and then when you do, you're like, damn.
Exactly.
And I don't know about you, but who likes to admit when someone else is right and you're wrong?
Oh, trust me, I don't like to admit when I'm wrong.
Because I told all kinds of people over and over they were wrong. I said, you're wrong. She's not going to do that. I'll be daggone, buddy. She did it. But we live and we learn and we got to move.
Yep.
That's it. There's no easier way to put it. It was a very interesting point that you made about men. I did like that because you're right. Guys don't like to admit stuff like that.
It's absolutely true.
And there's so many different scenarios that could be examples there. So many of them. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want a better life, the only way you can do that is forget about the bad. And if you're following Christ, you shouldn't be thinking on it anyways, because he's there to carry us forward.
Yep.
And if it was something that you did or that I did or that Brandon did and it was wrong, well, I mean, Christ has done forgave you for it anyways. The one person that forgives you for anything and everything, I mean, that's Christ. Christ forgives all.
Exactly.
All we got to do is ask for it and mean it. So that should be a motivator by itself to just move on. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. So tonight, Brandon, when you get back, we'll come back and do some more aviation, SpaceX, technology talk when you get back tonight.
Ops 30.2 p.m. Start recording checkbox not checked. Stop streaming checkbox checked.
Guys, if you ever have something that you would like us to cover, maybe there's, some kind of news thing going on that you want us to cover, or something's happened, or you're dealing with something in your life, or you're seeing someone else deal with something and you need help, reach out to me, because I will gladly come on and do a stream, and I can put things into perspective without putting your name out there at all, but you'll know that I'm talking to you. So the goal is to help anyone that we can, but we can only do so much, like we're doing now. That's, to me, it's a gift to be able to do this and put our voices on the stream like this. It's opportunity for the right people to hear us talking about a situation to help them get through it, and that's what matters the most. So as far as announcements, real quick, just to make these while we're here on the lounge, we are going to be doing a Christian show. I don't know what day we're going to start doing it, but it's going to be consistent that same day every time. And we're going to get back to doing what we was doing before, reading in the Bible, talking about it, and doing some prayer if people need it. I enjoy doing those. When we were doing them before, I really enjoyed it. There's nothing better than being able to sit back and read the Bible and gain more knowledge about Jesus Christ and, you know, the life of being a Christian and some of the challenges. And I don't know your take on it, Brandon, but I know when we used to do it, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
I did too.
And it might start out slow, it might start out small, because I know there's a lot of people that don't get into that stuff, and that's fine. I don't even judge you for it. You know, everybody has their own time when they, you know, decide it's time, and we can't decide that for you. All we can do is do the streams and just pray and hope that, you know, we can connect to some new people and change lives. That's what it's about. So, until tonight, that is all we got for now. Again, if you got troubles behind you, let them go. Let them go. And if you don't know how to do that, reach out. Find someone that can help you bury the past. Just bury it. That's all you can do. Why let it run the rest of your life? You know what I went through has been controlling my mindset for the last 3 months. And I get it. It's not easy. But you gotta make the initiative. You gotta be the one to step out and say, I'm done with this. And if you can do that, then you'll get through it. So, Brandon, don't go nowhere. Stay right there. For everybody else, make sure if you're here watching on the lounge and you're not subscribed to the channel yet, tap on that subscribe button. Join us here at the lounge. Be sure to set your notifications to always, so you're notified each and every single time that we go live or publish a new video. For those following on Facebook, to all my friends out there, Heather and everybody else, God bless you all. I love you guys. I appreciate all the people out there watching, showing your support, and we will be back here later on.